Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Build Along With Me video. This is a real-time video where we build step-by-step a Dinkum structure. I'm terming this one as like an elegant house build. You'll maybe recognize this if you watched the live stream I did with Jersey Games, where he came over to my Extreme Makeover Island and was building a beautiful museum area, and we were kind of expanding the museum building, and we built these two structures on either side of the MPC museum building. It has a very I think Asian architectural inspiration, at least to me it does. So I was really impressed by this. I was like, you know what? This should be my next video because I was very inspired. And so here we go. The structure is 10 by 8, as you see in the little grid up in the right-hand corner of the screen. And hopefully this will help you, know how many tiles to build. Each of those little squares tells you how many tiles high. I'm going to build the perimeter here. And this build video is definitely a little different than the ones I've done in the past, where I do the whole structure and then I kind of start decorating. This one I'm kind of doing in pieces because it was slightly more complicated and I wanted to make sure I had my numbers all right. This is the only one that I built it during I built the other one while Jersey was, completing the one on the right-hand side. I was completing the one on the left-hand side. So I've only built this one time. Usually when I do a prototype, I, build it again or build it myself and record all the, tiles that I print. So that's why I kind of did this one in pieces. So this first one is all 4 high. I built the perimeter, so I obviously counted up 2, 3, 4. And this one has a little bit of a pattern to it, as you can see. Fairly easy to follow along. If you get a little behind, just hit pause and catch on back up. But it should be, fairly easy to stay with me. I do not speed these videos up for that very purpose. You'll notice later on in the video, I go a little off script and start sort of ad-libbing and making things up a little bit. Not so much with the actual build of the structure, but I do modify it a little bit, and it's not necessarily reflected here, although it will be very easy for you to do yourself, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. I loved the elegance of the way this building turned out. Now again, and I used marble. That's what we used in the museum build. I just replicated that here. I used all the exact same items. However, as I say in all of these videos, you absolutely can customize this to look however you want for your island. Maybe marble is too much. Maybe that's too fancy. You can pick a different tile, a different kind of pathing to use, and make it a little bit more, say, rustic looking, or, use flower boxes instead of pedestals or pillars to create, the same kind of imaging. So yeah, we're gonna now just start decorating it a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like. If you haven't watched my museum build video, this should maybe come as a surprise. There was a lot of marble in this build, and again, like I said, for some people I realize that's probably too much marble, and I get it. Again, you can change it up to be whatever you would like. In fact, I feel like customizing it to fit your needs is kind of the whole point. You get the basic idea of the structure to build it here, but then your creativity can be infused in all the finishes. Or you can copy it exactly like I do it here and go from there. I realized later that I placed those pillars down on the ground and I was going to have to take them up and put some marble underneath it because I was going to put, even more marble on the floor. One of the things we did in our museum build is that we used these kitchen cabinets as sort of a trim on the building. Jersey was using, I think, the green mossy path here in Dinkum, and it wasn't yielding the results that he wanted, and I wasn't loving the look of it. And so we kind of experimented, and then I was like, hey, what if we did that mangrove tree has got to go. Hopefully I cut it down later. I can't remember. So we played around, and I was like, I've seen other creators use these kitchen cabinets as a variety of different, multiple purposes rather than actual kitchen cabinets. And so we pulled these out and started using them, and it was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what's going to work. It's going to be perfect. So I feel like they really added a little something, and it also gives you a different line of color. The thing in Dinkum is if you put a tile down, you can't have layering tiles as different colors, if that makes any sense. So if we wanted to dirt print up one more high, but have that a different color where we're putting these cabinets, you couldn't make it a different color the way the game mechanics work. So using unintentional items to achieve that look is what we did here. So now we're going to start creating the central part of the structure and the back part of the structure. That's why I said I built this one a little differently. Because there's no bottom foundation or platform, I'm counting from 1 all the way up. Normally I will build the entire a foundation, if it's a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 8. And then every number after that is, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you've already got that first tile down. But this time around, I was doing it because there's a pattern to this building. I was kind of following the pattern more than I was, let me just build the entire thing in one giant block and go from there. This helped my brain. Maybe it'll help yours. Maybe this is actually the worst way to do it for you, in which case you can take that handy dandy little graph down there and copy it exactly, and you can do the decorating for later. But for me, as I was building this in real time, my brain worked better this way. Again, you have to adapt to what works for you, and not everybody's style is gonna, work for everybody else. So I totally get that. But for me, this was more helpful for me to do it in pieces so that I could make sure I didn't get off one tile somewhere, which could mess up the design and the pattern of the building. And I've been known to do that, so I don't trust myself. So that's why we do it like this, especially on this particular build. On other ones, not as much. And some things like the coffee shop I've built so many times that I don't really need that reference. But here I did. And again, like I said earlier, later on here, the back of the building, I decided, hey, rather than leave it plain, let's make it, 3-dimensional and have some kind of character back here on the backside. And I will be excited to show you that here in just a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but I do love the versatility of Dinkum in terms of all the different things you can create. It's like Minecraft, but cuter. The graphics are cuter, in my opinion. I grew up in the 80s playing video games, and everything was 8-bit graphics. And so I enjoy games that are a little bit more refined in their graphics. I know some people really love the 8-bit style, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I prefer this more cutesy, cartoony looking style over that. And also there's some story elements here with Dinkum that, I felt were missing to some degree in Minecraft. And then, you got the multiplayer aspect of Dinkum. It's so much more fun to build with friends. I say grab a couple of your favorite buddies and get on an island and build this together. Have the video playing in the background, and you can just build along. We have some friends of mine started like a co-op island, and we built a neighborhood, and everybody built their own house. And this is, a structure like this is one of those examples that you could use. I think I've used the little condo that's right next door as my house on the island. My friend Misty used the house that was actually occupying this space, but I tore it down because this is an area of the island where I do a lot of prototype builds to, create these build along with me videos. And they get torn down as I need the room for something else. That's the nature of progress, right? Tear it down, build something in its place. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm probably gonna let y'all watch and build, and I will be back in just a bit.
Patio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118,
Of course, you don't have to make this a home on your island. You can utilize this build as another museum, an art gallery. You can turn it into a fancy restaurant. I mean, really, it doesn't have to be anything other than what you say it is. I'm just calling it an elegant home build for the sake of ease, but you can really utilize this kind of build anywhere for any purpose. If you want it as a home, or if you want it as an addition to your own museum, or, you can somehow figure out a way to add a sign that says, art gallery. And instead of pillars, the marble pillars, you could put out statues. I mean, there's a lot of options you could do here. Anything, you're only limited, like I say, by your own creativity. These finishes are just suggestions. The build itself can be, utilized and tweaked to fit your own specific needs. I started building it the way Jersey, and I had it on the museum, and then I realized, no, we're going to need like a walkway here because I'm going to do like a wraparound porch situation. Not really a porch, but like it's going to wrap around the building, and this is how it's going to go. So I did modify a few things. I liked the back patio area, if you will, where I utilize a pergola and make a little seating spot back there. Very fancy. If you've got a neighborhood on your island and you have varying types of homes, this can be just another style for that. Or again, you can use it as, a shop of some kind or some other structure that's more in keeping with the theme of your island. I decided to sink the hedging down one tile. I've done this before. It's not something I do super commonly in builds, but I do like the look of this. I like the manicured style of the hedges, that are, shaped up rather than bushes that are a little bit more woolly and wild. I wanted that pop of green, but I didn't want the hedges covering up the benches and the other, topiaries there on the patio, for lack of a better word for that structure, for whatever you want to call that. I also thought about using the hedge arch, but then I decided to, contrast it up a little bit with the hardwood because I do utilize the hardwood pergola. Wow, that's a hard combination of words apparently for me to say. I do utilize that later on. For some people, this may not work for them. The sinking of the hedging, they may not like that it looks, you got that little bit of a gap there from the dugout hole versus the hedge itself. I think if you put other things around it on the outside, you can hide that and it's not going to be nearly as noticeable as you would think. But again, this is where you can infuse your own creativity. You can build this whole thing up one tile, and then when you put the hedging down, you don't have to sink it. I just didn't account for that, and I wasn't going to redo everything, and that would probably be to more people would enjoy that versus sinking it down. But if you like something new and different, you could try that too. It's really whatever you would like. I did put down grass on the other side and realized, no, I would rather have tiles, and so I corrected that, and then you see the finished version over here on this side of the structure. You don't have to use hedging either. You can sink the flower boxes down and put flowers in them. I was just going for something, kind of modern and sleek and simple. But again, all the choices are there. So you just use your creativity to make it your own. I decided to replicate what the front looks like back here, simply because I wanted to put in sort of like a patio area, and obviously you're going to need a door of some kind to get in and out of. We're using our imaginations here, guys. It is what it is. We don't have doors and windows in Dinkum yet, and we might not ever have those items, so we're going to have to work on it and, use what we've got and imagine that there's a wonderful double French door here. I loved during our stream, I believe it was Boozy Loomer suggested that because we had like this entire column as a black window, but it was almost too much black. And she said, why don't you dirt print up in front of it and put the marble down? And so then you only have like a smaller window. And I really love the look that this achieved. Less black, but just enough to, give you that illusion of windows. So thanks, Boozy Loomer, for that suggestion. I think there were some other people who commented about that as well. And for whatever reason, I am drawing a blank on those names. So leave a comment down below if you were one of the ones who helped out in this problem-solving area when we were doing the live stream. I was trying to get the cabinets to match up so it would be seamless, and I was struggling, as y'all can see. So I liked having this back patio area add-on. Again, from the graph, all you have to do is just literally copy the front. Super easy, nothing complicated. I actually created the graph before I did the video, so I was like, well, you know what? We'll leave it. You guys can figure that out. That's a pretty simple part. That sometimes I'll do that first, and then that limits me sometimes in my creativity later on. But you live, you learn, you figure it out, you do it differently next time. I used the hardwood pergola here instead of the other colors. I felt like that looked and matched. Also, the green kitchen cabinets up as the kind of trim work. They have a kind of a hardwood top, and it just looks a little bit more elegant to me. But again, you can use whichever one matches your style best. I was going for a much more elegant, I keep using that word. I need a thesaurus. What are some synonyms? My mind is drawing a blank. But you guys get the picture. I'm going for a much more polished look here with this house, or build, or whatever you want to use it for. And that was the look I was going for, but you may want something a little more rustic. And if you build this and you customize it and make it a little different, please, please, please go on over to my Discord and post some pictures in the Dinkum channel. I would love to see what you guys do with these. I'm always excited when somebody messages me or comments and says that I built your thing and it looks so great. Well, let me see some pictures. I wanna enjoy it with you. So I'm keeping it really simple back here. I didn't add a whole lot. Again, I was kind of looking at clean lines and simplicity and, elegance. And so you can add more or less for yourself. So now we're going to do a little bit of, I think, lighting, because, it gets kind of dark sometimes in Dinkum, and you guys know me, I love these floor lights, so I put them everywhere in every build. Just expect that from now on, basically. Floor lights all the way. Who can go wrong? When in doubt, lay down some floor lights. That's my new motto. All right, I think we're going to be doing the final walkthrough pretty soon, where you guys get an idea of the build finished. I started doing a walkthrough, and I was like, it's missing something. It's missing some surroundings. I built it a little too close to my last build video project. And so then after I walked around, I was like, you know what this thing needs? It needs some trees. So we're going to put some trees in just a little bit. And you can also add some, windows to the sides here, guys. Again, this is just basics for you to get an idea for something for yourself. So there you go. Some jacaranda trees that will be purple in the springtime. And I feel like they will, blend together nicely with all the purple hibiscus that I put in this build. It contrasts against the white very nicely. Obviously, you're probably not going to build this on a sandy, beachy area. Like I said, this is just my prototype portion of the island. In fact, I would encourage you not to. It looks a little bit better when, you're in a more wooded area. But here we are at nighttime, so you guys can see, or at sunset, rather, what it looks like with all the lighting at nighttime. Very soft illumination. That's what I love about the floor lights. You don't have anything that will obstruct the view of what you've just done, but you also get a subtle pop of color and light that really helps bring all the details out and really brings the structure to life. I will forever say that the floor lights are my favorite new addition to the game. Can't you tell? So here we are. It's finally dark. You can also, push the build out a little bit and make it more of a 10 by 10 and hide some floor lights on the ceiling. Leave a little space, in between some cabinets if you wanted. I think in Jersey's and my museum build, that's what happened, and you could do that. But on this one, I wanted to make it a little bit more compact. So again, customize it however you see fit. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've built along with me. Now show me what your structure is. There's a link to all my stuff down in the description below. As always, guys, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll see y'all in the next one.